Canada and the United States, north-south neighbors, NATO allies, best friends forever, right? Well, maybe not when a certain president throws tariffs like darts at a pub. Overnight, Canada found itself slapped with steel and aluminum duties, mocked in renegotiated trade deals, and left wondering if its oldest ally had suddenly gone rogue. But here's the plot twist: while Trump tightened the screws, 10 surprising partners stepped forward. Some offered markets, others intelligence, and a few even put boots on the ground. Grab a coffee, hit subscribe, and let's count down the 10 countries that had Canada's back when the pressure was on. Number 10, United Kingdom. Brexit chaos? Yes. Time for Britain to ditch its Commonwealth cousin? Absolutely not. Within days of Trump's 25% metal tariffs, London blasted the move as an attack on fair trade. British trade envoys fast-tracked post-Brexit negotiations with Ottawa, laying out a bespoke UK-Canada free trade agreement that sidestepped American leverage. And when President Trump joked, more than once, that Canada might make a convenient 51st state, Westminster scoffed publicly, affirming Canadian sovereignty in Parliament. That diplomatic mic drop reminded Washington that the old Anglo-Canadian bond still runs deeper than the Atlantic. Number 9, Australia. It's 13,000 kilometers from Ottawa to Canberra, but distance didn't dull Aussie loyalty. Trump urged allies to buy US defense tech. Australia went the other way, co-developing an over-the-horizon radar network with Canada to watch the melting, but militarizing, Arctic. On trade, both countries doubled down on the CPTPP, the rebranded Trans-Pacific Partnership resurrected after the US walked away. By championing that pact, Australia helped guarantee Canadian exporters tariff-free access to 500 million consumers, buffering the blows from Washington's whims. But your subscription is what powers us to share truths no one else tells you. Number 8, France. Paris didn't just tweet its disapproval, it mobilized. President Emmanuel Macron called US tariffs illegal and fast-tracked EU ratification of CETA, the Canada-EU trade deal, giving Canadian steelmakers alternative ports overnight. Then came the fighter jet drama. While Trump dangled pricey F-35 contracts, France pitched the Dassault Rafale, telling Ottawa, break free from dependency. The message? Canada shouldn't have to beg Washington for spare parts to defend its own skies. Number 7, Germany. Berlin had its own running feud with Trump over NATO budgets, so when Canada felt the squeeze, Germany pounced on common ground. It spearheaded PESCO, Europe's parallel defense framework, and invited Canadian observers, hinting, there's life outside US leadership. Meanwhile, German auto giants lobbied Brussels to open even wider lanes for Canadian raw materials, ensuring electric vehicle supply chains flowed around American tariffs. In press conferences, Chancellor Angela Merkel bluntly warned that isolating Canada would destabilize the entire transatlantic economy, a diplomatic shield Washington couldn't ignore. Number 6, Sweden. Neutral on paper, ferocious in practice. To back it up, Stockholm Saab dangled its Gripen E-fighter at a bargain price, complete with technology transfer rights that Washington rarely offers. Translation: Canadian technicians, Canadian data, zero Pentagon permission required. Sweden also leveraged CETA to fast-track green tech partnerships, think battery plants and biofuels, helping Ottawa pivot away from US supply chains Trump kept threatening to yank, and hey, every like and comment fuels our mission to reveal what most people hide. Now, onward we go. Number 5, European Union. Okay, it's not a single country, but the EU's unified punch packed more weight than any bilateral ally. Brussels imposed mirror tariffs on iconic US exports, Harley's, bourbon, orange juice, signaling, hurt Canada, and Europe responds. Behind the scenes, the EU-Canada Strategic Partnership Agreement expanded joint work on climate, cybersecurity, and pandemic preparedness areas Trump either defunded or dismissed. Together, Brussels and Ottawa showed that global leadership doesn't require the stars and stripes. Number 4, Mexico. Irony alert, the nation Trump hit hardest became Canada's trenchmate. During the bruising USMCA renegotiations, Mexican negotiators refused U.S. clauses that would have isolated Canadian dairy and auto sectors. When Trump threatened 25% tariffs unless Mexico stemmed migration, Mexico accelerated trade talks with Canada and the EU, proving supply chains could reroute in weeks. The North American partnership, ironically, grew stronger precisely because someone tried to blow it up. Number 3, New Zealand. Small population, outsized impact. Wellington rescued the moribund TPP, rebranding it CPTPP and persuading Canada to lead alongside it. For Canadian farmers and tech firms, CPTPP unlocked duty-free access across the Pacific minus US strings. In the Five Eyes Intel Club, New Zealand also tightened data sharing with Canada just as Trump's diplomatic zigzags rattled trust within the alliance. Quiet solidarity, loud results. And hey, your support powers more stories like this one now. Let's move on. Number 2, Norway. Oslo and Ottawa already bond over Northern Lights, but Trump's climate rollback turbocharged the bromance. Norway's sovereign wealth fund, $1.5 trillion deep, plowed new capital into Canadian renewables, offsetting U.S. investment retreats. On security, Norway boosted Arctic exercises with Canadian forces, signaling that NATO's northern flank could endure even if Washington pulled the plug. Shared values? Number 1, Netherlands. The Dutch love tulips, bikes, and apparently Canadian diplomacy. When Trump slashed funding for global women's health programs, The Hague launched She Decides, funneling millions with Canada as co-chair. Amsterdam's Port Authority then offered fast-track lanes for Canadian exporters dodging U.S. tariff risk, while Dutch courts stood tall for international law just as Trump belittled it. In short, the Netherlands didn't merely support Canada, it amplified Canada's voice on the world stage. Canada flipped Trump's tariffs into a global power play. Want to know how it all started? Watch top 10 countries now choosing Canada over the US. After Trump's new tariffs, it's the setup to everything you just saw. Smash that subscribe, ring the bell, and drop a comment. Is Canada taking the lead, or is the US just slipping?